My name is Laura, and I am here to talk with you about two tests. The first one is the esophageal manometry test, and then the second one is the 24-hour pH test. I had both of them about 11 hours ago yesterday. I'm in a suburb of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I'm Central Time in the U.S. And the first thing I want to do is give you a little bit of information about what happened. And the second thing I want to do is give you some tips that I found very, very helpful. One of the main reasons that I'm posting this is because I am the poster child for fear of choking. And I don't know why that is. It's just always been my very, very worst fear. I am not a wuss when it comes to medical procedures or pain. It's just fear of choking. And so I tried to have this test done about a year ago. The technician could not get the catheter past here. I took her hands in mine and made her pull it out because it was so scary to me at that time. Since then, my symptoms of reflux have gotten worse and worse and worse. And I decided I just had to literally suck it up and do it. So there are a couple of tips I can tell you ahead of time to do. One of the first ones that was really helpful to me was to go online. There are a couple of YouTube videos of people who've had this done. It was very, very helpful. The second was I read from some good sources online like Massachusetts General and Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic and such, as well as my own hospital website about some of the instructions. And of course, you follow the ones that your provider has given you, but also sort of what to expect and what it's for and what exactly happens. So that was incredibly helpful. The second thing I did that was incredibly helpful as well is I called the nurse technician. Her name is Christy, who did this procedure. And I talked to her on the phone. I said, look, I am incredibly terrified of this. And I told her the reasons and I asked her to walk me through it slowly. So third thing I did was I took somebody with me, took my mom with me to just be with me, be supportive, and to literally hold my hand through the procedure. It was very, very helpful. The fourth thing I did was I took my phone, which had some music on it, and that was incredibly helpful as well. Christy let me play it during the procedure, and what it did was it gave me something different to focus on. It got me out of my head so that I didn't focus on how uncomfortable this stuff is. So I got there right at noon. We went in to the room with Christy and just went through some preliminaries, and then I asked her what the instruments were she had laid out, because I really like to know ahead of time. If I can get into that curious mode in my head, that's really helpful. So I wanted to know ahead of time what was going to be going on. So she showed me the catheter. She showed me a couple of tubes. One was saline and one was gel. And she promised me that it tasted good. Tasted, well, sweet, not necessarily good. And it happened to taste like my favorite popsicle, which is banana. So if you have that gel, ask ahead of time what it's going to taste like. Otherwise, you'll imagine the worst, and it's really not bad. So the first thing she did was she had me drink a whole lot of water while she inserted the catheter. Bigger than this, and if you look, you can see online what it looks like. It's a pressure-sensitive catheter that goes through your nose down into your esophagus, and what they then do is they have you swallow this stuff to measure how fast and how well it's going down into your stomach. The worst part of this whole thing, the worst part of the last 24 hours took place in about 20 seconds. Unfortunately, that's right at the beginning of the test. That is, for me anyway, when she put the catheter in my nose and down into here. So between here and here were the worst 20 seconds, and that's when I stopped her the last time. So I almost stopped her again this time, but I didn't, and I'm really glad I didn't. What happened during that time is that I just felt like I was going to throw up. I was trying really hard not to dry heave, and I was crying, and I felt like I was choking. But once I got past that, it ended up just fine. So then I was laying on my side, and she laid me on my side after she got it in, and she gave me a bunch of swallows of the saline, and then she gave me a bunch of swallows of this banana gel stuff. And in the meantime, I was holding my mom's hand and listening to the music, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. So then she had me sit back up, do a few more swallows. She said, "Okay, are you ready?" I said, "Yes." She pulled it out. And then what we did was she had me swallow more. Well, she put this tube in, which you can see it's very, very thin. I'm not sure how thin it is, but it's pretty incredibly thin. And so she put that right in the same place through my nostril and down into my esophagus. That was not at all is bad by any means. And so she taped it up. You can see tape here and here and here. And then when I got home, I decided to put some tape here. You could put it up higher if you wanted, just so that you're not moving your head around and jerking it. And this catheter here is connected to this monitor. And this monitor has several buttons. We have a button to push when you take medicine. We've got a button to push when you start eating, and then again when you stop eating. This is for when you're lying down. So you push it when you're lying down, then you push it again when you get up, and you push this. This is the most important thing of all when you have symptoms. Whatever symptoms you're coming in with, push it when you have symptoms. I also was given a sheet on which to log a lot of my symptoms and when I was eating and what I ate specifically. And so that was okay. I'd rather just use the monitor, but I suppose they need to know what you eat specifically. I'm just looking over here at my notes. Okay, so after she got this hooked up and this all ready, I was good to go. And my mom and I went out for lunch, and I thought that was going to be really difficult, but surprisingly it was not. I started with just drinking water and then iced tea. Don't forget to push the button. I forgot to push the button. Don't forget to push these buttons. It's really important. Yeah, at any rate, that certainly caused some reflux. I had some chocolate cake because I wanted to show that I really do have reflux. I don't want to just eat vegetables throughout this whole test and not have it show reflux. So I had some chocolate cake. I had a few fries, a handful of fries. Later in the evening, I had a hamburger and some more fries and some coffee and, some other healthier stuff too. But for the most part, I just wanted to eat like my normal bad habits are. And I wanted to show the reflux. I don't actually have horrible habits. I just happen to like chocolate too much. But at any rate, okay, so that's what happened. Some tips that I found super helpful. Talk to the person who's going to do the procedure first by phone. And second, try not to overthink it. Do some research. Look at a couple of these YouTube videos. They're extremely helpful. It's really, the worst part is just going to be 20 seconds. You'll have more, other things in your life that go on that are much more unpleasant than this. It was not horrible. It's kind of like mind over matter and also using distraction. This is one of the best things, as a tip, keep this in mind, this is one of the best things that probably could happen to me, because I realized that I do need to cut out most chocolate. I need to cut out most of my caffeine. I'm pretty addicted to caffeine. And I do have a lot of good things that I eat most of the time. But then there are also some fruits that I need to cut out. And if I can keep that in mind, then I can revamp my diet a little bit. So That's a good that's a good tip. Another just really helpful thing is to tape this up before you go to sleep. Again, I had it taped right here, so it wouldn't jerk around. And then when I was ready to go to sleep, and I slept perfectly, by the way, I slept just fine. I taped this part of the machine, not the buttons, but this part to my waist, and then I put just a tank top over it. And I also taped more of the catheter over, and around my body so that it would stay pretty still as I slept. I'm having reflux right now, so I'm going to press the button. The Another tip is that I was able to take a shower. They tell you only to take a sponge bath, in my case anyway, but I was able to take a shower because my husband is awesome and he was willing to hold this thing for me outside of the shower, obviously, while I went in and just really quickly scrubbed down. I did not wash my hair. I'll save that for later today, but I feel clean. I feel good. Theoretically, you can go back to work after this is placed. I talk for a living, so I did not feel like I wanted to go back to work, but theoretically you can. You get used to it pretty fast and pretty easily. I am going to go back to work after it's taken out today. What else? Just don't forget to press the buttons and be good to yourself. Don't forget to document, expect to be a little bit tired, and this could be one of the very, very, very best things you ever do for yourself. I wish you all luck, and if I can do it, you can absolutely, hands down, do it. Okay, be well.